I'm just happy to be right here, right now, because I'm going to get to tell you a story. Mama, may I go pick Miss Vesta Woods some yellow daffodils to take to school today? Well, yeah, honey, but you better hurry because you don't want to be late. Well, I ran out our back kitchen door into the backyard, and I picked as many yellow daffodils as I could hold in my hands. I took them back in, and Mama already had the wet paper towels and the aluminum foil to wrap around those stems. And as soon as the bell rang, I walked right up to Miss Vesta Woods' desk, and I gave them to her. She unwrapped them, and she already had a vase on her desk with water in it. And she put those flowers right down into the vase. And then she gave me a hug. Every child in her room loved to get a hug from Miss Vesta Woods. Well, everybody except DeWitt Skelton. He was the little boy with the really curly hair that sat on the third row on the last desk. He wore overalls every day. If it was really hot, he just didn't wear a shirt under them. And if it was cold, he wore a sweater or a long-sleeve shirt. Now, on the very day that I took those flowers to Miss Vesta Woods, she announced that on Friday, all of the first graders, her room, Miss Borland's room, and Miss Booth's room, were going on an Easter egg hunt. We were going out to Lisey Clark's house. I knew Lisey Clark. She was my friend. She was in Miss Booth's room, but I still got to go play with her sometimes. Now, Lisey had a wonderful backyard. It had a little white picket fence all the way around it. And there was a sandbox that was so big, I think 10 kids could get in it and you wouldn't even touch or bother each other. And there was this swing set. There were single swings. There were 2 of those. And then there was what my mama called a glider. And 2 children could sit on one side on a bench and 2 on the other, and you could kind of glide back and forth. And on one end was a sliding board, and on the other end was a seesaw. Now, beyond the picket fence was just a great big old open field. And in the springtime, it would have yellow daffodils all over it. But the best part of Lisey Clark's house was her kitchen, because in her kitchen, she had a real Coca-Cola machine. It was just like the one at the service station and in front of the grocery store. It had this silver lever on it, and you pushed it down, then you opened the door, and you pulled out your Coca-Cola. You didn't have to put money in it. The first time I went to Lisey Clark's house and I got home to my house, I told my daddy, I said, "Daddy, Lisey has a real Coca-Cola machine in her kitchen. You don't have to put money in it. Would you get one for our kitchen?" He said, "Baby girl, Mr. Charles Crockett Clark owns all of the Coca-Cola plants in this part of Mississippi. And your daddy's just a cotton buyer. I don't believe we'll be getting a Coca-Cola machine in our kitchen." Now, Miss Woods continued with her instructions. She said, "Now, I'm going to send a note home to your mothers explaining everything that's going to happen on Friday. And children, these are your instructions to remember. I want you on Friday morning to come into the classroom, sit down in your desk, and I want you to bring an Easter basket. I want the Easter just a basket, long as it has a handle. Put some green fake grass in it like you get at the 10-cent store. And I want you to have 6 decorated, hard-boiled eggs in that basket. I do not want to have to fool with yellow yolk on Friday. Well, Thursday night came, and I got Mama boiled the eggs, and I told her, I said, now, Miss Vesta Woods, Mama says they've got to be hard-boiled. She said, they are, Jane. I said, Mama, are you? Yes, Jane, I'm sure. They are hard-boiled. Now, Mama had fixed a space on a kitchen counter for my big sister and I to dye and decorate the eggs. My sister was 6 years older, and she could have cared less about an Easter egg hunt, but she loved to dye and decorate those eggs. And when we were through, I knew I would have the prettiest eggs of any first grader. Well, that morning when we got to school, I did exactly what Miss Vesta Woods said to do. I sat down in my desk, and I put my basket on top of my desk, and I did not talk to anybody because I knew if I did, I wouldn't get to go to the Easter egg hunt. Now, Miss Woods said, children, I'm going to call the roll. And when I call your name, I want you to walk out the door, put your Easter basket up alongside the wall. Now, Miss Borland's children and Miss Booth's children will be coming out and putting their baskets there. I do not want you hollering to anybody in the hall. Come right on back in and sit back down. And she started. Emma, Laura, Arthur, take your basket to the hall. And Emma Laura went out. J.K. Skeeter Baker III. J.K. took his basket out and came back in. Cyrus York Craig. And off he went and came back. Lula Mae Griggs. She even went out and came back and didn't talk to anybody. Miss Jane Owen took my basket, went out and put it down. She finally got to DeWitt Skelton. DeWitt, please come to the desk. I ain't got no basket, Miss Woods. Well, none of us were surprised that DeWitt didn't have a basket. He never had paper, pencils, scissors, crayons. He didn't have a Christmas card for anybody at Christmas or at Valentine's Day. Miss Woods said, DeWitt, you have an Easter basket. Come to my desk. And he did. You know, he always walked with his head down, kind of shuffled. I kind of wondered if he had eyes and what color were they. But Miss Vesta Woods, when he got to the desk, reached under her desk and pulled out an Easter basket with the most beautiful eggs you've ever seen and gave it to DeWitt. You know, Miss Vesta Woods always had exactly what DeWitt Skelton needed. Now, I was just sure that as soon as those baskets were out in the hall and everybody had answered the roll, then we'd get to go to the Easter egg hunt. But no, we had to have reading groups. When they were finally over, we did get to line up, and we were going to Lacey Clark's. We all walked out into the hall. Miss Borland's were coming out of their classroom, and Miss Booth's, and the first graders went to stand by their baskets, and you could have heard a pin drop in that hall. It was so quiet. Then all of a sudden, there came this blood-curdling scream.